Alright, this is my presentation on azaleas. I just kind of want to quickly point out a few differences between azaleas and rhododendrons, just because I thought it was a little bit confusing when I first was trying to understand it. All azaleas are rhododendrons, but not all rhododendrons are azaleas. I feel like most people have probably seen azaleas multiple times over their lifetime, probably in your yard or your neighbor's yard. It's all over the place, like Lowe's, Home Depot. It's just a really common plant or shrub that people like to put out. Rhododendrons, I just learned what those were. I have a couple outside my house. I see them when I go hiking. I think one of the biggest differences is rhododendrons kind of are shaped more like a tree, whereas azaleas are like a bush. One thing to point out about rhododendrons and not azaleas is that they're evergreen, so they don't drop their leaves. They stay green year-round. Their flowers are a little bit different, bell-shaped. Their leaves kind of they're like leathery, a little bit waxy, a little long, thick. Azaleas are deciduous, so they do drop their leaves. Their flowers are small, and they bloom early, so azaleas kind of just got done blooming, so I'm hoping to see some rhododendron flowers soon. Those will be really nice. Did a quick side-by-side, just, in case you couldn't really tell from the pictures I have on my slides, the difference. The top left is the rhododendron, the bottom right is the azalea. History of azaleas, they've been around for a while, actually a really long time. We're not really sure where they came from, and so I'm just kind of say Asia, but there's tons of Japanese varieties of azaleas, so a lot of people will say that it's from Japan. Thought it was pretty cool that they did come to the United States through way of England, and they first were documented in Charleston, South Carolina around 1848. This is the chemical compound that is responsible for the toxins, a grazing toxin. It's a type of glycoside. Now this, in our lecture, said it breaks it up. So this one kind of is broken up more of like a in the cardiac area. So you're going to see a little bit more, stuff to do with your heart. Now, you're not going to die if you ingest a small amount, but the leaves are especially poisonous. There are a few of the symptoms that you can expect to experience: salivation, perspiration, vomiting, dizziness, tremors, diarrhea. If you ingest a large amount, you are not in for a good time. So it's not, like I said, it's not common to be poisoned. The most common form of poisoning happens in livestock, just because they do graze. I think they said that, I read somewhere that goats were the biggest culprit. Medicinal uses, China, they've been using it forever to treat chronic bronchitis. Some researchers in Italy have been doing some research, making essential oils. So that was really interesting that they found it successful in treating staph and candida, and actually reduced the cancer cell growth. Now this is all still, I think, currently going on, so I'll be excited to see what this comes about. And it's really not a whole lot needed to show effects. Now, one of the craziest things I thought was pretty cool about this was the Native Americans have been, obviously using this for a long time. Now, some Native Americans have actually used this to kill themselves because they knew how toxic it was. So, the Cherokee Indians believe that you should never burn any part of the rhododendron plant. So, they believe that if you burn the rhododendron, you would bring on cold weather, and then, bring on early winter maybe. The leaves, when they burn, they kind of give off a hissing sound, so it kind of suggests that the winter winds are coming and falling snow, which I actually have accidentally burned some rhododendron wood on leaves when I was camping recently, and it does make that sound. It's kind of not a good sound. So they would also believe they would try really hard not to burn any of it, even when they were making concoctions and medicines and stuff. Because if you were to burn it while you were making the medicine to treat, it would make it useless. Like, you couldn't use that to treat whatever ailment you were trying to cure. And then here are my references.